Today we're talking about Prophet. It is a stasis 120 RPM scout rifle from Trials of Osiris with base stats of 59 range, 29 stability, 54 handling, 49 reload speed, 54 bullet magnetism, 18 zoom and 16 AE, which are all slightly higher than the other 120 RPM legendary scout rifle, Long Arm, a ARC 120 scout from Spire of the Watcher, which has 54 range, 25 stability, 53 handling, 45 reload speed, 52 bullet magnetism, 18 zoom and 14 AE, which largely translates to the difference being basically negligible as the stat differences are literally 1 or 2 points basically. The main differentiator between the two is basically the perks and the slot they reside in. The Long Arm is a energy as it's an arc weapon, whilst Prophet is in the kinetic slot as it's a stasis weapon. And the Prophet is a trials weapon, meaning it has far greater perks than a dungeon weapon. To go over said perks, in the third column for Prophet you have Discord, Enlightened Action, Demolitionist, Keep Away, Hipfire Grip, Outlaw, and Rapid Hit. Whilst in the fourth column you have Cascade Point, Explosive Payload, Golden Tricorn, Headstone, Offhand Strike, Kill Clip, and Precision Instrument. The Long Arm, in comparison, has, in the third column, Rapid Hit, Wellspring, Under Pressure, Compulsive Reloader, Hipfire Grip, and Subsistence. In the fourth column it then has Adrenaline Junkie, Dragonfly, Opening Shot, Redirection, High Impact Reserves, and Explosive Payloads, which are all honestly very mid perks compared to Prophet. However, there is a few usable combos such as Hipfire Explosive or Rapid Hit Dragonfly. This is mostly expected as the Long Arm itself is the first of its kind, being the first 120 RPM scout rifle. This video is about primarily Prophet though, so I will talk about that. In PvE, Prophet isn't anything really that special, which it is a trials weapon I wouldn't expect it to be. By having the lowest RPM scout rifle frame, it'll still take 2 shots to kill most basic enemies, which a 120 RPM hand cannon can do against literal mages. However, it does feel quite nice to use, so if you were to use it in PvE for whatever reason, maybe a stasis GM build or something, I'd recommend Demolitionist and Headstone. Demolitionist to get more stasis grenades and Headstone to create tons of crystals. Golden Tricorn might also be an option if you're using a Glacier Grenade, as it'll activate ×2 Golden Tricorn fairly easily. And Precision Instrument would be nice for bigger targets and GM content, as it's a weapon that loads one shot at a time, making it fairly usable on the scout rifle. However, for most things I would probably just stick to Headstone, as it's a better all-round perk and will work better with your stasis builds, quite a bit more than the other options in my opinion. PvP, however, is where I think this scout rifle really shines. Out of all the perks, there's basically only a couple options. In the third column, you've got basically everything but Enlightened Action that is useful. Even Outlaw does something nice, as it would make reloading even faster. Primarily though, I would recommend Hipfire Grip, so you can actually play a little bit to the point of this frame, which is hip firing. However, that is not enough to make it reliable for hip firing due to just how much the bloom expands after a few shots. Keep Away is always a good option, as you'll get the extra range, bringing you up to 82 meters before fall off without any range buffs. And with range buff, you'll be able to hit the range cap, letting you go to 92.5 meters before fall off. This is on top of the slight aim assist buff, which is incredibly useful for the scout rifle, as flinch is the main thing that'll stop this gun from performing, which I'll talk about more in a second. Keep Away will also grant you 15 reload speed, which is beneficial again for something like Kill Clip. Demolitionist is actually a decent option now, and is what I've got on my roll of the scout rifle. Since it will grant you 10% ability energy per kill, you can basically bypass the March 5th's ability cooldown nerf so long as you're getting enough kills, which then allows you to just spam your grenade or he rises, which is very fun. Third column perk I recommend the most is probably Rapid Hit. This again is because of flinch. The other perks have great benefits which are all very good, however most people getting a lot of stability to counteract the flinch is what I will believe won't be the most beneficial, as Prophet doesn't have Zen moments to counteract that. Which honestly would make a 120 RPM scout rifle genuinely one of the best primaries in the game. I would also make sure to run Arrowhead if you want to hipfire or chambered / polygonal / small ball for even more stability. Top of using steady rounds, as you'll then have anywhere from 44 to 54 stability depending on your barrel, which should decrease the flinch a decent amount with good reseal and an unflinching mod. In the fourth column there are basically just 3 routes you can go, starting with Cascade Point. Myself, I don't think it's entirely worth it. For supers I can maybe see its usage, you'll be able to mow them down across the map, however you'll only have a 0.6 TTK and be essentially locked to running double primary and basically need a kill with your second primary in order to actually proc Cascade Point, which just makes it obsolete, as needing a kill just makes it worse than Kill Clip in most situations. However, if you were to run this, I would probably use heliocentric as your secondary, as it'll then give you a superb close range option to go with the scout rifle going literally across the map. Obsolete is also something I would use to describe Golden Tricorn, which without getting an ability kill just barely stops you from getting a 2-tap kill, which again doesn't make it very good. Especially with the whole cooldown nerf stopping you from being able to get the extra kill, and it being a stasis weapon. So I would recommend using Kill Clip, as it will let you get a 2-tap up to 100 result. However, with a single surge you can then immediately obtain a 2-tap at will result, as without surges you do 114 damage per headshot, which is incredibly good, especially since you get Kill Clip after just reloading a single bullet, and you only needed 1 kill, as opposed to the other prerequisites required for the other damage perk options to make them actually decent. Offense Strike and Explosive Payload are then your hipfire options. Explosive Payload counts as 2 hits for the Text Mechanical Origin trait, making it actually usable, as you'll just need 2 hits to proc it. Offense Strike then with hipfire grip makes the gun actually accurate during hipfire, but do not expect DMT out of it. You can make it work, but you will not be picking people off across the map whilst hipfiring. This is entirely a gimmick, and therefore I wouldn't really recommend it in most cases. If Offense Strike gave further hipfire accuracy just generally, I would argue for its use, but since it requires a kill again, I think it's just a gimmick and you'll be better off with a different setup in my honest opinion. And as long as you keep that in mind and actually just use it like a scout rifle, it'll be a very good weapon. The only issues with it as a whole are a lack of bullet magnet system, which is fixed by aiming well, and flinch, which can be helped with stability, resolve, and mods. I also wouldn't worry about getting an adept too much unless you can't actually enhance the standard weapon and anything they've actually said yet, as the adept mods aren't too useful. The only one is probably the stability mod or adept targeting to make the emphasis better, but other options are just arguably better on it. I just use adept Igorous because I like shooting, yeah. If you have the standard version, I'd probably just use normal targeting or freehand grip. And since I talked about mods, masterwork wise, I'd probably go for stability for reasons already stated, or range if you do want that extra little bit, as you'll then just be able to hit 87, which is the same as what you would get out of keep away without any barrels and whatever. And that's basically all I've got to say. I haven't had enough time this week to try on controller, but I have heard it is still fairly usable. So yeah, I think I'm covering auto rifles again, maybe Adjudicator from the Prophecy's new weapons. Don't know yet. So I'll see you all next week, like, comment, sub, whatever, and adios.